Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. What a way to start the week, a Monday morning with Panhandle Outdoors, 5:30 in the morning. It just don't get any better than that. Our weather today brought to us by Haney Technical. We're looking at a high of 72. We're in the Chamber of Commerce weather, a low of 65. Water temperature right around 61 to 62. It's fluctuating a little bit now. The moon, our Monday moon phase, guess what tomorrow night is? It's a full moon. We're looking at a strong full moon. We got a tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We got a low tide at 6:12 this morning and a high tide 8:36. Good tides today, next couple of days, but weekend looks like neap tide. So be aware of that if you're trying to plan some fishing and take off work and all. You want to go and take off work maybe tomorrow and go do some bait fishing. Marine forecast northeast at about 8. We got about 30-40% chance of rain off and on this week, but really going to be a good week to get on through to latter part of February. We're going to be in March next week, believe it or not. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. A lot of us don't know, if you don't do a lot of hunting at all, we don't know the importance of our deer processing companies all throughout the Florida Panhandle. We have some Jim Dandy ones. There's some folks up there at the Cottondale and over in, there's several here in Panama City. I'm not going to call that individual names because they're the ones I know. Each one of the ones I know does a really good job. These guys and ladies are professional. They're meat cutters, and they'll process a deer. And to appreciate it, you got to go way back to when we were doing our own, and we used to do our own. And it was sort of, it's sort of fun, but after a while it gets old. And then once they started processing it, especially making sausage out of it, it was just a no-brainer. The ones we used was over in Greensboro. Faison Processing, the Faison family did it, and they had a block building back behind the house, and they had the cooler on, and he was a meat cutter by trade. And it was just a no-brainer to take it to him. We'd skin it out and quarter it up and take it, and most people did that. And in the early days, we took pride in doing our own stuff and all, but then it was just a no-brainer to take it to the processor. And each hunting community had their own processors, or in Bluntstown or Apalachicola or up here in the Funiac, and people would, and they do, like I said, they do such a good job. One of our viewers last week touched base with me and wanted me to know, just to pass it on to you folks. Hunting season's about over, but anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. Make sure, and this is sort of like these people leave their dogs in woods. Just a small percentage of people do these kind of things. And I don't know the situation here, but this processing plant up in Columbia, up in Alabama, had some problems, and I don't know, power problems, whatever, but it was called the two-buck deer processing in Columbia closed. And Matt Boster put this on last week, and basically I just read some basic stuff from it. It was on Hudson Road. They found that the plant was closed and the building had no power. So when that power is cut off, you got to understand, if you look at this processing, you got deers all just hanging by, hanging up. So when the power goes off, it really becomes a problem, and it was full of deer meat. Several deer were located out back that hadn't been skinned yet. It goes on to say the smell was really bad, and on out in the parking lot. And it was deer carcasses to be seen in the mud. It wasn't a very pleasant situation. And then this was interesting. They managed to obtain photos of interior. But anyway, they learned that in Alabama there are no guidelines to regulate deer processing. I find that's hard to believe you don't have guidelines for deer processing, because it's a health situation there. But anytime you have meat and all, the importance of keeping it cold. That's why you kill hogs in February and all, because of the cold weather and all. So when you lose power to the meat processing company like they did in this particular situation, just be aware of it. So next season, I know most of y'all finished hunting now, but next season when you're getting out looking for processors, make sure they're reputable, which almost all of them I know are. But every now and then you might get somebody just starting out and you don't know them that well. So make sure you just a word to the wise that you take care of that. And And I've told you this story before. It's fascinating. I worked in a meat processing plant one summer when I was in college and all. It was a Frosty Moore Meat Company up there in Quincy, and it was just amazing. I had no idea, even as a young man, the meat processing industry and what all they do. And in those days, they'd bring those cattle in there, and I know you're talking about, oh, don't kill that pretty brown-eyed deer. Well, if you saw what they did to that pretty brown-eyed cow, you would say, I don't eat any more steak or hamburgers, because they would actually, this guy, I didn't want to bring it up, but with this guy, actually, his job, he had a 22 single-shot rifle. If I had phones back then, I was taking pictures of it because it's hard to tell. And they had them coming down there, they had to unload them from the truck, and they would have them coming down single file through the chute, and it got to the end of the chute where the big old conveyor belt. And what he did, he shot one time right behind the ear, and it dropped right there. And then it went on the conveyor belt, and then they hooked them in the back and hung them up, so they're hanging upside down on a chain like this and moving around in a big old pit out here, and they would cut the throat and bleed them out. And the guy working that, he had boots on, he was standing this deep of water. And that's the meat processing industry, and you can say what you want to about it, but it was hard work, and it was kind of work I'm glad I was a temporary work, because I just didn't want to do that. But anyway, so, and speaking of work ethic, let me mention this too. The other day, in fact, it was last Friday morning. Right now they're picking up, which channels, they're picking up all the trash with the big old machines and putting them on the big old tandem trailers. And it's a neat setup. I just study stuff like this. Well, the guy working, he drives the truck himself, the guy does, and then in between the tandem trailers is like a big lift, a boom, and it goes down and picks it up. I know you've seen them, they're all over the place here in the Panhandle. Well, they finally made it to our neck of the woods, and I've been watching the last couple of days, and I just like, like a little kid, picking about stuff and dumping it. Well, yesterday I was leaving, going down the road, and this guy had gotten off of his way up high. He'd climbed down the ladder, got off onto the ground, and was gathering up some limbs to make a pile, because most of them just leave all the limbs scattered. And this guy, though, had the work ethic to get off his stand up there, go down there and pile it up, and then go back up there and pick it up and make sure he got every stick off the side of the road. And I sat there and watched. I was behind him, so I let him move, and it just impressed me. I just stopped my truck. I got out my truck and walked up to him. I know he thought I was crazy, and I'd pulled out a $20 bill. I was going to give him a tip for doing that, because the work ethic, you don't see a lot of work ethic like that much. And he laughed. He said, "No," he said, "that's my job." I said, I appreciate you going to extra effort like that. And that just made my morning to see that. He was green. He was from Missouri. So anyway, I didn't want to get off all that stuff. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. One other observation while I'm just sitting here running my mouth before we get into this video. We have an epidemic of red light runners, and it's fascinating again to watch. So just be careful. I'm telling you, just be careful out there. A lot of people are just what I call tagging on when they're making that left turn and it turns red, 2 or 3 cars. I've seen it like 3 times the last day or two where people just keep on going. And it really started after the storm. Honestly, and I know what happened. These out-of-town people came in and they're used to doing it in their towns and not getting caught. But now everybody's doing it. I mean, the light turns red and here goes 1, 2, 3. So just look both ways and all. But just be careful out there driving. It's just a lot of things going on. Now, we're setting up this video. Our producer, Jeff Peck, back in 2010 after the oil spill, took the initiative, and he's a great videographer. All his camera work is superb. Took the opportunity to go from Pensacola to St. Mark's with his camera, and all the way up to Chipley, throughout the Panhandle, and just make this video. And and he sold a bunch of them to start with, and he had 1 box left. And I was talking to him, after Michael hit, our landscape has changed so much. And I was just telling him, I said, what you did a historical document, because you documented all of our beautiful nature. All this beautiful nature we have is documented on this video. So I asked him, I said, now it's a 52-minute one, no, it's about 50-something minute long video. It's a great gift to give to people that, that come down here, love the place and all. But it's also now, it's so important as to how this place used to look and will look again one day. But what we're gonna ask him to just pull out 5 or 6 minutes of some of it. And so what he did, it's going to cover the St. Joe, Cape San Blas, and up to Three Rivers, or in that area. He pulled out 5 or 6 minutes to just show this. Just beautiful photography. And he's going to put his email address on here. We'll tell you how to get it and all if you want to get some of these few remaining copies. So Jeff, let's go and run your video. Okay, welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. Now listen, here's how you get that video. You can come by to the studio and get it, or you can get his email and everything. And the video is $10 if you'll come by here to the station and get it. But if you're out of town and want to get it, it's $5 shipping. So that's amazing. And he's only got a limited supply left. And again, that's to me a historical document because that's really cool stuff. I got all kind of things in the last. I got to add some names real quick. And I'm gonna put it right here. Here from Fountain, the Fountain up here, the Cobb family, Brewster Cobb. I love that name, Brewster. Katie Cumby from Fountain, Ty Cobb, Fountain, and also Brycey Cobb, Fountain, and Gracie Cobb. The Cobb family all down. Let's go from Fountain to Tuloja. Jessica Hill, Helen Whitehead, Roger Dale Whitehead. Amanda Whitehead. Amanda keeps me posted on what's going on up in Tuloja. Jim Gardner, Panama City. A good loyal viewer right there. No, all these, the Gardner family. Ann, Brad Thomas, Panama City. Sullivan Thomas, Panama City. Steve Saps, Port St. Joe. And Judy Saps, Port St. Joe. They won some last year, I remember. Sullivan Thomas, Panama City. And Chris Gardner, Panama City. So, we're gonna get started. Our fish game times 11:07 to 1:07, and this afternoon 5:17 to 7:17, brought to us by Blue Water Outrigger. So let's get started. I got several things I want to show y'all. A couple of pictures right here. Up in South Carolina, check this out. The South Carolina lawmakers introduced a new bill placing. This is in the legislative branch. I thought this was funny. $75 bounty on coyotes. Now, you're not going to see people running around town shooting them and all. They're going to be trapping them in town and everything. But I thought that was neat. And again, that what we've said is a magnified problem of these coyotes all over America. And they're now, having to take legal action against the coyotes. So I thought that was funny. This time of year now, you're going to start seeing these, especially in public areas and all. I showed the picture last week of State Park with the fawn, spots on them. So, but don't try to rescue them. The mom is somewhere close. So just be aware of that. Leave them alone and walk by them if you see them in the park and all. Just leave them alone. I've showed this picture before. I saw it again last night. It's just a classic to me in this day and age that we live in now, where you have so much going on, and this is what wisdom is. You have all these people with their phones trying to get pictures and all, and this little old lady, she's soaking in that moment, and that's what I want to encourage you to do, is soak in that moment and just really take a deep breath and enjoy it. And I find myself the same way. I want to take a picture here, take a picture there, but a lot of times I say, wait a minute, look at that, just look at it. And so you know what I'm talking about. I just want to show that again. Now, last week I showed this map right here. Now, I got a lot of comments. This is really cool. This is the river basins. And again, it stirred my interest up. I just like doing this kind of stuff, so I dug into down into the southeast, especially Alabama and Florida, and it was different. Again, the Mississippi. Well, you understand why the Mississippi is so big. You have the Ohio River coming into it, and the Ohio River goes way on up into Pennsylvania and all there, and then you have the Missouri that actually goes into the Rocky Mountains. So all those drainage systems come into the Mississippi. That's why, and the Missouri is longer than the Mississippi. But anyway, there's so many fascinating facts here. But I'm not going to have time to do what I want to do. But let's go to the Alabama rivers, and I pulled this up last night. And what's cool? Remember, I was telling you that big drainage system. This is Mobile down here, of course, but you go upriver, you have the Tom Bigby coming to the Black Warrior. I love Alabama. You have the Tennessee up here, Gunnersville Lake, all that drainage coming through here. Then the Alabama River, okay, the Coosa and Tallapoosa, all comes out of Martin Lake, and that's all coming into that drainage system. And then over here in this corner, you have the Choctawhatchee River. And so you go back and tie it in with that video, with that big map. And then go down here to Florida, and of course the Panhandle. We pretty well know we know what's all coming in. The Scamby, of course, the Choctawhatchee, and of course we talk about the Chipola and all that. So getting on down here to the Ocklawackee, okay, that's a different color. I'm gonna show you this and go back to that color map in just a second. But going on down into the Central and South Florida, and I love this area down here too, because you got the Swanee, you've got all these beautiful rivers, the Withlacoochee. And then I'll tell you about the St. John's that flows north. Remember, it starts down here in Lake John, it flows north on into Jacksonville, which is an odd situation there. So look at all these. Then you go down here a little bit in South Florida, the Okeechobee, and then you have the the Peace River that goes into the bay right here in the Hillsborough and all, but that's not a big drainage system. But anyway, so let me go back now to the big map. So you tie these in, I'm going to zoom it in, tie what I just showed you, the Apalachicola drainage system and that, and then look at Florida, all the different colors on it. So I just wanted to, if you get a chance to do this and go back to, I've been around all my life and it's still at my age, still fascinating to see these river basins and what effect they have on us as outdoorsmen also. I've run out of time. Got a special guest coming on tomorrow. Got a lot more good stuff coming on this week. Make sure you have a good Monday. Do something good for your fellow man. Enjoy your job with your coworkers and help folks out. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.